I mean, look at that. It's a masterpiece of Sicilian flavors. The tomatoes are soft. Everything kind of came together. This really smells out of this world. So this came out perfectly. The salmon is cooked perfect. And all the other flavors, the tomatoes, the shallot, the olives, the capers, I mean, they really come together and they really bring this together. Got this crispy skin. Look at that. Today we're making a Mediterranean salmon. I love salmon, and every week I try to incorporate salmon into my dinners. And I'm sure you do too. And that's probably why you're here looking for a salmon recipe. And I got you covered. You're gonna love this one. In Sicily, at a lot of the restaurants, they serve fish alla Mediterranea. And usually what that means is tomatoes, olives, capers, and some fresh herbs. And when I see it, I always order it. And that's exactly what we're making today, a flavorful fish alla Mediterranea, inspired by the time that I've spent in Sicily. And this way of preparing fish really works with a wide variety of different fishes. It works great with swordfish, pretty much any white fish. You could even do it with chicken. And the best part about it, it really comes together in like 10-15 minutes. So if you're busy during the week and you want to eat healthy, this recipe is great. Now enough with the talking, let's run through the ingredients. I have wild caught fresh salmon, cherry tomatoes, shallots, Gaeta olives. You could use Kalmata if you don't have Gaeta, capers, and Sicilian oregano. You gotta have the Sicilian oregano for the Sicilian dish. So in order to put this dish together, we need 2 frying pans. One frying pan to sear the salmon, and another frying pan to create that Mediterranean flavor. So I'm gonna set this salmon aside, and we're gonna start prepping these ingredients. So the first thing we're gonna do, we're gonna slice up some shallots. And the cherry tomatoes. Now these cherry tomatoes are gonna bring a lot of juice, flavorful juice into the pan, and really give a great taste to the salmon. So that's pretty much it for the prep. We're gonna add all this to a bowl. And we're ready to cook. All right, so I got my pan on high heat. I'm gonna add in some olive oil. We're gonna season the salmon up with a little salt and pepper. So we got the pan nice and hot. We're gonna cook the salmon skin side down. And we're gonna cook the salmon for about 3 minutes on each side. All right, so while the salmon's cooking, we're gonna add a little olive oil, and we're gonna start creating our Mediterranean flavors. Gaeta olives and capers. We'll season this up with a little bit of salt, because the olives are salty and the capers are salty. A little black pepper. And the Sicilian oregano. This is really gonna bring in a lot of flavor. Now we're gonna give this a nice mix. The tomatoes are starting to soften up. And that's what we want. We want that flavorful juice in the pan. All right, let's check on the salmon. It looks good. It looks like it's ready to be flipped. We got a nice color on the skin. These are cooking perfectly. And that's kind of what you want. You want that nice crispy skin. So this looks perfect. The tomatoes are soft. Everything kind of came together. This really smells out of this world. I'm gonna turn down the heat. The salmon has another minute or two, and I don't want to overcook this. Salmon looks good. And that's really it. Once the salmon's ready, we're just gonna put these on a plate, and we're gonna top the salmon off with this flavorful blend. All right, so the salmon looks good. I'm gonna turn it off. Let's get this all plated. All right, so this came out perfectly. The salmon is cooked perfect. We're gonna get these on a plate. This is the flavor here. This smells amazing. This is really, because we really just pan-seared salmon with salt and pepper, but this is really where the flavor's at. So we're gonna top the salmon off with this. And this really, I mean, if you're serving this with polenta, I mean, you know, this flavorful topping here over polenta, it's delicious. Or even just some bread. And these flavors, they really complement each other. The sweetness of the cherry tomatoes, the sweetness of the shallot, and then the saltiness of the olives and the capers, and then that herby kick from the Sicilian oregano. I mean, it's out of this world. This looks perfect. So now, like with every forkful, you get olive, caper, tomato, onion. It's delicious. I mean, look at that. It's a masterpiece of Sicilian flavors. This came out perfectly. You could almost taste it with the smell. That Sicilian oregano really took it up a notch. Sicilian oregano really doesn't compare to regular oregano. And you don't have to go to Sicily to buy it. You can find it online. Gotta try it. It really kicks it up to a whole nother level. And all the other flavors, the tomatoes, the shallot, the olives, the capers, I mean, they really come together and they really bring this together. This dish works great in the summer, winter. I mean, it's perfect. It's one of my go-to salmon recipes. I can't wait to dig in. Got this crispy skin. Look at that. With every bite, you get all that flavor, that juice that's developed in the pan with the tomato and the olive oil and the capers. It really kind of gets in the salmon. Even though we didn't cook the salmon with it and we just topped it off, that flavor it's so flavorful. It's delicious. And the salmon was cooked perfectly. And by splitting it up, by cooking the salmon, pan-searing the salmon, and then creating your like flavorful Mediterranean topping, it really allows you to control the cooking time of the salmon so that you could cook it perfectly. And it came out perfect. It's delicious. I hope you try this recipe, and if you do, let me know how you like it in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe.